My favorite manga in Jump right now is Roboco, a story about a boy and his robot mate who might be a military class weapon and their many wholesome friends. Its author Shuhei Miyazaki is a big manga fan and thus has added many references to many popular series in the story, including my favorite story ever, Hunter x Hunter, much to my personal delight. I will show all the Hunter x Hunter parodies and at the end we will go through some cool statistics. Okay, let's get started. Chapter 3 has Roboco posing like she's a Chimera and Royal Guard at their king's service, even having the black background with a shining light in the panel. Chapter 6 for Mom's running gag of constantly holding a random knife, this time she's holding the famous Ben's knife that Krollo used. In Chapter 10 we get the first appearance of Prince Benjamin in Jump in 4 years. I don't get this joke, but Benjamin appeared, so I am happy. If you do get the joke, please explain it in the comments, because I really don't get it. In Chapter 12, Motsuo's relationship with his family as the future heir and him not being able to meet with his friends is similar to Killua and Hunter x Hunter. This is also alluded to by Motsuo's father, proposing that Motsuo replace Meiko, his order mate, with this newer order mate model that is obviously inspired by the design of Kikyo, Killua's mother. In Chapter 14, the iconic scene of Krollo knocking out Neo Nostrade is reenacted by Roboco and Bondo to convey how Roboco is a master at getting physically close to people. But sometimes it's too subtle for the recipient to notice. Amazing metaphor. In Chapter 17 we got introduced to one of the greatest side characters I've ever seen in a manga, namely a random Heaven's Arena judge who appears whenever any kind of competition takes place. He will appear in later chapters too. This chapter also has 2 Greed Island parodies. One is a reference to Gon's battle craze during the dodgeball game. What's 1 plus 1? Yes, he's hopeless. And another to Hisoka catching a ball like the cool dude he is. Chapter 18 has Madoka showing off her innate affinity with nature, which is shown through her quoting Kite, all hunters are good with animals, as well as having a throwback all the way to Chapter 1 of Hunter x Hunter, with Madoka fishing up the king of the lake just like Gon once did. Chapter 22 has Roboco comparing her sock puppet accounts on Twitter to Neferpitu's puppeteering ability. However, this is a change made during the English localization, as in the original Japanese, it is instead a reference to the scene in Heaven's Arena where Wing reveals that Gon passed the secret second hunter exam, or the Ura Hanta Shiken, which is a similar slang name as Uraaka, which means secret second account, so secret second hunter exam, secret second account. It's not exactly a pun that would work in English, so I guess that's why they changed it. Since in English we say alt account instead of secret second account. Chapter 25 is a full parody of the complex plans formed during the Chimera Ant arc, with several elements of Hunter x Hunter appearing in it, such as the narration and inner monologues. You got Gorilla summoning a Bodhisattva similar to Netero, and him quoting Shoots, "I can still fly." There's even what I believe to be a parody of the graph we see when Tsuritnir takes control over his Hatsu, with Motsuo's graph of the plan having a similar layout. I also really appreciate the little photosynthesis thing they got going on right there. Chapter 28 has the Heaven's Arena judge appearing once more, doing the same pose as this panel of the Hisoka vs Krollo match in Hunter x Hunter. And this chapter also has Roboco eating in the same way that Zeppal does. In Volume 3, one of the volume extras gives stats on all of the main characters, including their Nen type. There's seemingly no specialist among our main characters. If anyone would be one, you think it'd be Roboco with her unique charisma, but seemingly she's more close in personality and power to our Leorio, which I see as a win. Chapter 32 references the scene in Greed Island where Killua and Gon get compared to gemstones by Bisky, except this time it's Motsuo and Gochi Gorilla comparing each other to gems in their inner monologues. They're such great friends. In Chapter 33, Roboco explains her mental training strategy to produce her wonderful niece, which is a parody of Kurapika's image training he did to obtain his conjured chains. In Chapter 34, Motosuke's distress gets compared by Roboco to wealth and confronting the certainty of his own death in front of the king. Very specific reference. Chapter 39 is Roboco directly alluding to Netero's 100 Punches of Gratitude training regime. If you're so grateful for me, then why don't you do 100 Punches of Gratitude for me every day, huh? Huh? You aren't grateful? Huh? Chapter 46 revolves around Roboco using Neon's lovely ghostwriter, with the poems having a similar structure to those of Neon, with 4 stanzas. Also, this panel of Gorilla reminded me of Krollo reading his prophecy, which was probably done on purpose seeing the subject matter. Chapter 52 is a full-on parody of Hunter x Hunter. Lots of narration, and the characters reenacting several scenes in the context of Bondo wanting to leave the house, but he doesn't realize he has no pants on. These scenes include Gon's confrontation with Pito, done by Bondo and Meiko, with panels directly inspired by that scene, including Gon's terrifying facial expressions. You also got Netero and Zeno's encounter with the king, including the king breezily walking past those two powerhouses. Another scene that is referenced here is the entering of the palace, and Gon continuing to run while nobody else has even had the time to process Mentor to Yuppie being right there on the stairs. In Roboco, this is done by his fellow enhancer Gorilla. The chapter concludes with Gorilla, Motsuo, and Meiko performing the beautiful Greed Island Gon Killua Hisoka combination dodgeball technique to finally get Bondo dressed just in time for the fireworks. Amazing, incredible. Normally I would not enjoy making light of serious scenes like this in Hunter x Hunter, but Roboco does it so seamlessly I can't help but smile. Chapter 68 is a Zoldyck-style testing gate in the jump offices to prevent chapter leaks, including a side trap door that has Shueisha ninjas who will demobilize those who enter. In this chapter it is also revealed that the editors at Jump are actually Hen users, which is just like Nen. A second year uses his Hen in a similar way that Bisky does with the transmuted numbers. The idea of the higher ups of Jump having Nen abilities is also similar to Heaven's Arena, where on the upper floors everybody has Nen. Chapter 74 has a parody of Greed Island's dodgeball game, but instead it's a snowball fight. This includes a parody of the scene where it seems like the heroes don't have enough players on their team to join Rage's game, but then the Chad Gorainu comes in with his Gorilla Nen Beast. And it's no different in Roboco, where our own Chadley gorilla does the same thing. I love those two gorillas. This is also a callback to the other Hunter x Hunter parody, chapter 25, where Gorilla's Bodhisattva that we saw was actually him using his Gorilla Hatsu all along. What a callback. Goda. Also there's a clever parody of the Heaven's Arena referee after the Hisoka vs Gon match, when the methods of winning with our boys is questioned. I'm confident my ruling was fair. Chapter 80. Once again, Motsuo takes the role of Killua in this parody of the scene where Killua proclaims his ambitions to Ikago. In Roboco, it is Motsuo using a similar speech in maybe an even more fitting context, where the nearly fatal dose of poison, or chocolate in this case, actually matters. Yet again, Motsuo being used for a Killua parody. Chapter 81 has more general Chimera Ant parody with lots of narration, and also this very specific parody of Palm's story when she got captured by the ants. I would not have been able to catch this reference myself. I definitely found it on Twitter, I think. Chapter 90. The scene of Hisoka tricking Krollo into thinking he has a sword of law in his body gets parodied by Roboco, who has formed a plan to make the chapter more exciting to celebrate the anime, without Bondo noticing a thing. Such was Roboco's tenacity. Chapter 91. The big cosplay chapter. The characters cosplay as a bunch of Hunter x Hunter characters. This includes Roboco cosplaying as Sridnich's Nembeast, Roboco cosplaying as Bisky, which is surprisingly fitting considering Bisky's true form also has incredible powerful knees. While in this cosplay, she also does a Gyo test on Motsuo and Gorilla, with a push-up punishment just like Bisky did to Gon and Killua in Greed Island. Later in the chapter, the entire gang does cosplays of Gon and Killua, since they all want to be the same character. Of course, Roboco cosplays Gon and Killua's most powerful forms, because she is just extra like that. She also shows off Gon's Jajangkan attack. In the end, the Killua group cosplay gets turned into a Rhythm Echo cosplay. A nice ending to this chapter. Now the next chapter, chapter 95, has Roboco used two moves from one of my favorite fight scenes of all time. Ufogin facing the Mafia, catching a bullet with his teeth, and Ufogin going up against the Shadow Beast. Rest in peace, Rapid Dog. These feats of Roboco really show off how powerful she actually is, and how much she cares about making this day special for her friends, not allowing any interferences. That's real manga, bro. That's real manga. In chapter 107, one of Roboco's training plans to train to stop a moon-sized asteroid from destroying the Earth is Netero's 100 gratitude punches training. Or at least, that's what we can assume from her ending up in the same meditating pose as him at the end of his training. Chapter 109 has Mom appear with the first Ben's knife we see at the York New Public Auctions. And finally, chapter 111 has Roboco and Gorilla using a familiar method to complete Motsuo's escape room. What I especially love about this parody is Gorilla's cool expression, almost like he is a hero in this instance. Now for the cool statistics I promised. I counted every single reference to Hunter x Hunter per arc and got these results. The arc that got the most parodies is the longest arc in Hunter x Hunter, the Chimera Ant arc. Meanwhile, the shortest arc, the Election arc, has 0 specific references to it. Sadly, no Paristan cameo in Me and Roboco yet. I also counted the total amount of chapters that has at least one Hunter x Hunter reference. And it turns out, 26 chapters include a Hunter x Hunter parody, with some including more than one Hunter x Hunter parody per chapter. That's almost 1/4 of the chapters that has an Hunter x Hunter parody. And just like that, there are many other parodies and references to different Shonen Jump manga in this lovely manga, Me and Roboco. I implore everyone to read this manga, no matter if you are an avid Jump reader or not, because at its core, it is a very wholesome manga about accepting yourself, accepting others, and the relationships that bloom between individuals. And lots of crazy stuff too. I'm very grateful I'm able to read Me, Roboco and Hunter x Hunter weekly right now. I hope that both manga can continue running for a long time, and that both authors, Takashi and Miyazaki, will stay healthy while creating their incredible manga. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.